At Lagos Television, it's all about storytelling. And when others are silent on the issues bothering on the center of excellence, we remain committed. You're watching Lagos Television, the voice of Lagos.
To have you join us on the news at 2 on Lagos Television. I am Aminat Elegushi. The federal government has terminated the 740 billion naira contract for the rehabilitation of Abuja-Kaduna dual carriageway with Julius Berger over non-performance. Minister of Works David Umahi laments the delay in mobilizing to the site despite the approval of 740.79 billion naira for the completion of the 82-kilometer section 2 of the road by the Federal Executive Council, which is causing untold hardship to road users. Director Press and Public Relations, Federal Ministry of Works Mohammed Ahmed adds that the contract was terminated after the notice of termination to the company for the completion of the project elapsed on Monday. Due to the socio-economic importance of the road as a vital artery connecting Abuja to the north, the ministry conveyed the approval for a final offer on the Abuja-Kaduna way to the company, but rather than accepting the offer, the company tinkered with the bills of quantities as well as that of engineering measurement and evaluation. The contract was subsequently terminated based on time explosion and non-performance. The Minister of Works, David Umahi, says the ministry will disburse final compensation payment to those affected by the Lagos-Calabar Coastal Highway construction within the next 10 days. Umahi stated these are the National Assembly Joint Committee on Works and the Federal Ministry of Works stakeholders' engagement on the ongoing Lagos-Calabar Coastal Highway project to address gray areas in the construction process. Joshua Mbrakinyo has the report.
There has been over 3 stakeholders' engagement. This is different. Members of the National Assembly are here too. Dispelling insinuations, setting the ball straight and getting clarity, especially from aggrieved stakeholders, is the reason for this gathering.
I assure you, the president remains well for all of us. The Federal Ministry of Work diligently followed the guidelines set forth by the Federal Ministry of Environment and the provisions of the Environmental Impact Assessment Act 1992. But within the section of Section 29, there are procedures for compensation assessments.
After speeches from experts on environmental impact assessment and valuers, the Minister of Works was ready to set the ball straight on some thorny issues on the Lagos-Calabar Coastal Highway.
Mr. President directed that we should share the corridor, to 6 lanes, and also reduce the carriageway of the train track from 25 to 20. And that has given a lot of relief to a lot of our brothers and sisters within the corridor. And in his own, engagement, with the people God gave him the assignment to cover, he's not saying who's right and who's wrong.
The question and answer segment that started orderly later snowballed into emotional outburst, which is foreseeable considering the proposed demolition of their properties along the corridor.
What was taken from him, that is not the intent of this beautiful work we are doing.
That is the two African temple. It's in Mopo Onibeju, Lekki, not Okwaja. That is what I have been trying to bring.
Save this place from here to this place. It was never said. There was nothing I didn't do. I can come and show you.
Please bear with me and know that we have nothing to benefit or to hide. But if you say that it's been done for personal interest, please, you know what to do.
But the important thing is that whoever is affected should be duly compensated. And from 8 billion to 18 billion, it shows that the federal government, the executive arm of government, is flexible. I'm hoping the 18 billion will go to 20 billion, or whatever it takes to make Nigerians happy.
For our stakeholders that are seated down here, let me just put it across that the ministry channels of communication is still wide open. And I don't want us to trivialize this our engagement here today.
Now, after the comprehensive and intense engagement of critical stakeholders on the grey areas or conflicting areas of the Lagos-Calabar-Coastal Highway, especially the realignment of the Section 1 of the Coastal Highway, it is expected that stakeholders will understand better the workings and, of course, have their buy-in as the project expands to Section 2. Joshua Murakio, LTV News, Lagos.
In other news, the Federal High Court in Abuja struck out the suit against persons charged over the nationwide End Bad Governance protest. The trial judge, Justice Obiara Agwatu, struck out the suit following an application by the Council to the Attorney General of the Federation to take over and discontinue the suit. The Attorney General of the Federation, Lateef Fagbemi, who was represented by the Director of Public Prosecution of the Federation, Mohammed Abubakar, added the proceeding announced the exercise of his power of Section 174 of the 1999 Constitution to take over the case from the Inspector General of Police. After granting the request by Justice Ogwatu, the AGF proceeded to request the invocation of the same section of the Constitution to discontinue the trial of the 119 accused minors. Following no objection to the request from various lawyers representing the accused minors, Justice Ogwatu granted the request and struck out the charges. And back home in Lagos, Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu received the Secretary of State for Foreign Affairs, Commonwealth and Development Affairs, United Kingdom, David Lammy, on a courtesy visit to the Government House in Marina. During the visit, the United Kingdom and Lagos government renewed commitment towards working relationship that will promote business and other development. Maogbejosu has the details.
For decades, the Nigerian and British governments, their citizens have been benefiting from existing bilateral relations between the two nations. For continuity, the United Kingdom Secretary of State for Foreign Affairs, Commonwealth and Development Affairs, David Lammy, and his team are in Lagos House Marina to discuss economic growth of both countries.
I am here to say that the UK is very much open for business. We're open for business with our old friends, and Lagos represents a very old friendship. The huge opportunity that exists here in Lagos, and it befits our approach in the UK, which is to see growth in our economy. The people-to-people links between the United Kingdom and Nigeria are second to none.
What we have as a clear advantage in Nigeria, especially in Lagos, is the sheer number of the young, dynamic population that we see, and they're yearning, for new opportunities globally there, and so the government is creating, that atmosphere or that opportunity for them in terms of training, skills development. I want you to leave, with the assurance, that the environment will continue to be a lot more attractive, to the businesses that are still sitting on the fence. Should we not? This is the time. This is the moment.
While commending Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu for various infrastructure across different sectors, David Lamy says with the increase in climate change across the globe, the need for partnership between Lagos State and UK on clean energy cannot be overemphasized.
With developments here, with your deep sea port and other things, we want to see more over the coming months and years. And of course, in this age of climate, as we also see growth in energy, particularly clean energy, there is possibilities between companies that want to invest here in Lagos.
Lagos generates 15,000 metric tons of waste, so there's a huge, waste to energy, opportunity that we can look, and because we're also in a very small, tiny space, so we need to also be very, we need to be very clear about how we utilize our environment and how we preserve that environment that has this huge, population. So in terms of energy mix, we're being very, creative, ensuring that we can get a lot of energy sources off grid, and stay clean as we could, encouraging a lot of solar interventions.
Both parties exchanged gifts where Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu presented the Eyo statue, a representation of African spirituality which tells the culture of Lagos State. Maugbe Jasu, LTV News.
In sports, the investigative committee set up by the federal government stated that the inaction of some officials of the Athletics Federation of Nigeria were responsible for Favour Ofili's non-registration for the women's 100-meter race at the Paris Olympics. Committee Chairman Momoni Alao stated that the omission of Ofili's name was also traceable as a result of the Secretary General of the AFN, Rita Musindi, negligence in her duty to communicate to the Ministry of Sport Development and the Nigeria Olympic Committee information about Ofili's event status in a reliable and timely manner. The committee also faulted AFN Technical Director Samuel Onikeku, who is said demonstrated poor judgment by failing to act on an hint of Ofili's non-registration for the event. The report recommended that the officials be penalized by appropriate authorities and that the AFN should pay the sum of 8 million naira to Ofili for the disappointment and depression that she suffered on account of her omission. And on the foreign scene, polls have opened in the United States election 2024 after a heated presidential campaign ended on Monday night. Millions of voters are registered to cast their ballot across U.S. Democratic candidates Kamala Harris and Republican Donald Trump are going head-to-head in a race that remains too close to call. Harris and Trump have made final appeals to voters in key battleground states, stressing that the stakes of the November 5 vote could not be higher. Recent polls shows the candidates in a neck-and-neck battle nationally and in key battleground states such as Pennsylvania, North Carolina, and Michigan. We'll bring you details as it unfolds. For more news, connect with Lagos Television on the social media platforms. Please remember to call the Lagos State toll-free line 767-0112 in case of emergencies. I am Aminat Ilegushi. See you again at 4 p.m.
It is all about decisive and incisive news report on policy matters, in-depth analysis on topical issues, comprehensive discourse on what is critically at stake, detailing the trends and the issues as they are, understanding shared